Hello everyone, welcome back to New Nostalgic Plays. My name is John and today is a little bit of a different episode. So we are still playing Spyro the Dragon, but we had some audio issues last time, so this is going to be some post-commentary, which is a little bit different, but it gives me an opportunity to talk about the game while I'm not struggling to make an ass of myself. So we are here in Clifftown? I think this is Clifftown. We only need 400 gems, there's an egg here, and 3 statues, I believe. 3 or 4. So, first off, we are going to visit 2 worlds in this video. The Ice Caverns after this one, and obviously Clifftown. And they both have a bit of a feature that I both love and kind of get frustrated with. So you saw me back there hitting up that wall trying to jump over it, and it was behind that building right in front of us, and I couldn't. Now when I was a kid, I always thought there was like a bunch of areas that you can access, like getting on top of this building up there, getting on top of that building, etc. And we get a glimpse of some enemies and a statue up on that ridge. We get to that later. But being able to explore in Spyro and a bunch of other PS1 classics and future games as well was a huge part of me playing games when I was younger. And feeling that again while playing this game is just, it's brilliant. Though a little frustrating. I'll get back to that in a little bit. First off, the enemies here are pretty easy. These reptiles are just food for Spark. The lady you just saw me blow fire on can only be killed with fire. It's not a problem because the range of Spyro's breath is just like absurd, I think. If they were to make this game a little more challenging, because I mean, it's Spyro, it's nothing. It's fun, so it's not super challenging yet. Though it does get a little frustrating later on, we'll see. But decreasing the range of the fire breath, I think, would make it a little bit harder. Like, I mean, yeah, this game came out in like 1990 something. It's not like they're gonna go back, but you never know if they remake the games. They did that with the Crash trilogy recently. I'm just crawling around this block to see if there's any gems that I potentially missed. There's not. The second type of enemy are these guys with the iron coats. Can't breathe fire on them. Anyone that has like a shimmery kind of steel, whatever object on them, you can't breathe fire, you have to charge. This is one of the easier eggs I think I've ever done, even though it was pure accident because he turns around. But we got it, so that's 5 eggs total so far. And we are going to talk to the dragon. Haldor.
How's a dragon supposed to flame metal armor anyway?
Remember, Spyro, flame won't harm metal, but charging with your horns, that should do the trick.
Okay, that's 24 dragons, thanks for the wise words. Again. This is a pretty interesting map. So I'm just jumping up here, trying to make sure I'm not missing all the chests. We'll jump across here. I can't reach this firework yet. You have to go higher and then glide onto it. Not a big problem. I tried getting to that one and it did not work. I think that's the only time these guys have ever hit me on this level. There are some gems around this block. And then we'll eventually start making our way up as I fall back down here. Right. So, as I was saying, it's a weird level. I do like the design because it starts you off way over there in the building. Then you walk out of it, and you can kind of see the expanse up on the cliff town, because this is what it is. It's supposed to be a cliff village. I don't know what the enemies actually are. And then you get to the topmost point of the cliff, and then the game's like, oh wait, turn around. There's more to do, and we'll see that in a second as I climb up here. Kill these guys. I'm not complaining, I mean, I'm glad the fire breath is so long, but it just feels really easy. So there's a lot of enemies that they give you signs of attacking, and you even have like a roll function where you go left or right, but it's not needed so far. Now, I don't think I ever beat the first Spyro, and so maybe enemies later on come in and you gotta kind of use everything at your disposal, but so far, charging, where you don't take damage unless the enemy is an enemy that you can't charge and they just whack you down. Of course you take damage. But the fire breath seems to take care of most things. Can't access this, we have to get the firework, which is down at the base of the cliff. Keep climbing up here. Now, I don't think I actually stopped to observe everything in the distance, unfortunately. Alright, you have to breathe fire on the pots to get 1 gem. But let's talk to... what's his name? Enzo.
Hey, what's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
Alright. So I don't grab those yet, because I want the satisfaction of being done with the level to get those. But from here we can... okay, I thought this would like lift us up in the air like a gust of wind or something like that. Definitely not the case. So we can glide from there onto this building, hit the firework in a second, and you'll see the chest explode in the distance. But now I can glide over here, and that's all of the gems on this side except for the ones on the portal. Not counting the ones at the very start across the bridge. Nailed that. Remember, there is a shortcut. Right, and if you are a little confused, now that I actually talk about it, red gems are worth 1. Green gems are worth 2, blue gems are worth 5, yellow are worth 10, and then there are the purple ones which are worth 25. Here's the third enemy in the game, these birds. They only attack you 1 at a time, and you breathe fire on them. It's pretty easy. But the way the ground is kind of laid out in this map, they kind of like have a dune shape to them. You can see the ground's all bumpy. Well, the birds follow along the ground. So as soon as the ground crescents upwards, they'll keep going up like that until they turn around real quick. So a couple of times you may have to wait for the flying animation to stop, have them charge at you again, and then you can attack the next one. Very easy though. The spikes in the distance just show the barrier. It's an invisible wall. Okay, the reason why that didn't attack me is that this bird, I think, started attacking me first, since they only attack... that was this one. They only attack you 1 at a time, and I had to wait for the bird behind me to reset its animation before the closest one locked on. Alright, so there is the building. So, again, the focal point that I really want to talk about is just exploration in the Spyro games. At least the Spyro games. When I was younger, I tried desperately to climb onto any building I could. Like, any building. Invisible wall. Lost a ton of lives, just constantly jumping up on things, gliding off into the distance, seeing if there's things behind waterfalls, because a lot of games had, like, hidden waterfalls to them. But at Spyro in particular, I found that just had these weird exploring moments. And they're cool, and they pay off. Let's talk to Marco real quick.
You've reached the highest point in Cliff Town. You can get to almost anywhere from here. If I were you, I'd use that whirlwind there.
Sure. Okay. So... I'm surprised it didn't trigger the talking animation. There we go. Don't need to save, don't want to replay the dragon. So from here, we can glide all the way over here, get these 2 chests. But I failed. Thankfully, the checkpoints are right here, so you don't have to go all the way around, all the way up on cliffside. They knew there would be, like, backtracking. Though, backtracking here, they foresaw, but the next level has a bit of weird backtracking, though not like a mandatory backtracking. I'll get to that once we get to the next level. So as you can see, I got all the gems in my visual vicinity. And I'm thinking to myself, let's go to the start. Maybe this will be all the gems I need. Got that yellow 10 gem. 367. So where are those final gems? Right, well they're nowhere near me right now. Okay. So, exploration. The layout of this map is really interesting because there's just a definitive place you're supposed to go from the start. You just go straight until you go up the cliff. You're told by the dragon to turn around, and then you're right here. Now the other gems, and it's not necessary, you don't need the gems, but I'm trying to go for 100% run to get that final level to go 120%. The last couple of gems are in a weird location, and I just have an idea to do this, because I vaguely remember doing it or trying it when I was younger. There it is. The last couple of gems are right behind this building. A location, like there's nothing really pointing you here. There's no light or feature. Things you see in, say, like the Bloodborne games, they guide you to specific locations, and even some hidden locations. There's kind of a guiding factor. But nowhere here does it say, try going behind the building. Fly behind the building. Risk losing the life you have and get near the building. It's just jump off, fly, and pray you hit something. I am not critiquing that feature, because I actually really enjoy it, because it makes finding these locations that much more enjoyable. But it is frustrating sometimes. So this is me trying to figure out the next location, and then I remember there's this little cliff down here, little crevice. Jump on down here, and we enter the ice cavern. If I can actually get through the door. But it's moments like these in the Spyro games that make you take leaps of faith, and you just kind of jump off into the unknown. And sometimes you see the location first. Maybe more often than not, you'll see a location you want to get to, but you've exhausted the map that you can use by just like walking or running. And then you have to start thinking, well, how could I possibly get to this location? Flying, for the most part. It's always normally gliding into like a ledge, etc. I'm not going to deal with this guy until we get that chest. Now we're in the ice caverns. This is a really interesting level because the entire center of the map is this giant pit in front of us. And all you see in the background against the wall is the only places you can walk. So basically we're in an ice crater, and we're going to go all the way around. Now these giant Yeti creatures can't be rammed, I don't think. They can only be flamed or whatever. So those guys exist. Then you have these that throw snowballs and walk around. Not too difficult. I don't actually know if you can breathe fire on the snowballs. Bats are not enemies, they're just food for Spark on this level. And we will talk to Ulrich.
A word of caution, little one. Wait until you grow big, like me, before charging those large enemies.
Sure. Got all these giant dragons, and none of them actually staying to help. But that's fine. Spyro has some sort of weird destiny, as they keep alluding to. So the gems are pretty easy to get in this level, except for like a handful. Getting 100% is actually relatively easy. Maybe easier than the last one. But getting some other things is a bit harder, and we'll get to that near the end here. But for now, we will just keep moseying through. I like this level a lot. I like the atmosphere. I like the color. The general scheme of like a temple in a mountain, like an ice mountain, is pretty clever. A lot of space though. But I do like what they do at this section of the game. Once we get to the chest up here. This enemy is easy because of the flame breath is super long. I don't want to keep dragging that on, but it's so long. It's nice. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. Alright, we need no eggs, 400 gems, and 5 dragons. Easy enough. Okay, just lie over here. Now, if you don't know, you can't flame the metal chests, you have to ram them. I'm sure you've seen me do that quite a couple of times so far. Just a variety. There's a couple of chests that you have to do weird stuff. Some of them you have to breathe fire or smack once, and then it launches the gem up in the air, and then you have to grab that. So this is pretty cool. There's a green gem right on that ledge. Oh. I think we're gonna end up talking to the dragon first. But the green gem that was on the ledge is kind of the point where you need to be to eventually jump off and reach the key for that chest.
Spyro, some big Norks up ahead are wearing armor, and in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
Right. Thanks for the wise words again. So basically what I'm getting at is that there's no way around it, and you have to do some backtracking. Now there's only a couple of these little lantern things with one gem on top of it. Kind of frustrating that you have to ram it and not breathe fire on it. Not a critique. It just seems risky. So there's the little ledge right over there, and you can see the key and some gems on top of it. The only way to get to that, to my knowledge, and at this point I'm freaking out because I'm thinking, how many of these lampposts have I missed that potentially have gems on them? Not that many, and I didn't miss any, so we're good. So before I go and try and fix that chest, we are going to keep going down here a ways. That's the third enemy in the game, or in this level. Can't breathe fire on them like these guys. Oof. But you can ram them and make them fall off the edge. That's clever. I like that. Snowball thrower. Easy to deal with. Love the purple in this level. Right. So, if you're curious like me, there's nothing in the pit. I don't know why I thought there was. It's kind of like gut feeling that, oh, maybe there's something down the bottom of that pit. Nope. Not at all. Right. So we're gonna deal with this guy and talk to the dragon. Andor.
Thank you for releasing me.
Okay. This is the other chest I was talking about. That shoots up a gem. You have to jump over it, grab it, and then the chest explodes. These chests contain a life. I do not miss that. I do turn around. And yeah, see, up to 7 lives so far. And then there's certain enemies that I think if you... Because normally an enemy drops a gem, for the most part. But if you go through the level again, or if you die and come back and the enemy's there, then they drop an orb, and if you get so many orbs, you get a life. And so at this point, I decided that maybe I should go back and do the ledge, because it's probably going to dump me out right there. So if you decided to not go this route and jump off the ledge first, you're going to have to do this in reverse. Not an issue. It's just you're going to have to backtrack through this eventually if you want to get 100%. Which is fine. But this level in particular really likes to backtrack. And we'll see that again later on. Now this is a little embarrassing. I'll give you a spoiler. I don't make it. Nope. I thought, maybe if I dive, it'll just drop me straight down. Nope, it's at an angle, and I messed up. So this is the second shot at trying to jump on that ledge. And there's also even more backtracking if you're as bad as I am. So on this ledge I figured, well maybe... Nope. Maybe the distance was gonna be, I don't know, less. Maybe my issue was I was too high up, but nope, that's not the case. So you want to go up on the top ledge, and then you want to realize how the controls work. You can actually pull back, and Spyro will kind of like hang in the air a little bit while descending. You just slow your descent, and you're not going forward so fast, which is awesome. I don't know if you can barrel roll mid-air. I don't know. Alright, resituate ourselves. Okay. You don't have to go from that ledge, but as long as you're up that high, you're guaranteed to land on it if you can just like pull back a little bit. So now we have a key. Now you have to go back. It's the only way to unlock the chest. Okay. There we go. But yeah, it is clever. I already got the gem, but what I was talking about before is that there was a gem on the ledge near the chest, and it's a green gem, and it's the only one on the edge. And if you're standing on that edge with the green gem, you can see the platform where you're supposed to be gliding to. It's a cute little mechanic to kind of guide you over into that direction, I think. Otherwise, it would have been more symmetrical and just put gems all the way around it, not just one right there. Now we're going to make a risky glide. Do we make it? Yep, we do. And now we can continue on with the rest of this map. So much backtracking. And there's games with like more backtracking, but when the maps are not as big as other games, the backtracking kind of feels like it's more involved. Okay, we traded blows. I'm just looking around. See this gem, have to go back and get it. I'm surprised I didn't fall off the ledge there. Now we are near the end of the game. End of the level. Ooh, as I drop everything. Okay, gotta roll back and get that. Talk to Asher.
Thank you for releasing me.
Super helpful. And by super, I mean not at all. Okay, so you can return home right now. Again, you don't... as long as you unlock a certain amount of dragons, that's all you need to go to the next hub world. I think as it stands, we can probably make it to the next hub world. I can't quite remember. I think we have plenty. So there's a bunch of chests here, another life chest. We'll need it. And you'll see why. There we go. So you see that ledge? There's no real conceivable way to get to it unless maybe I'm thinking there's a place above me. Now there's no gems on it, so it's not necessary for the 100% completion, I don't believe. There's just 3 lives. But I really, really want to get it. So we jump up here for the next area. And this again is kind of like the last level. You think you're at the end, and then you just kind of go around a little bit, a little more exploration, and bam, there's a whole other caverny area. Okay, we'll grab all these gems. We're almost to where we need to. That's the 4th enemy on this map. It's a skiing guy who's a bit bigger than the other snowball thrower, but he also throws snowballs. It's just really annoying. Watch me as I try and breathe fire on the metal chest. Okay, here's the rest of the poles with gems on them. Let's not do that yet. Clear out the room first so I'm not being attacked by like snowball throwers, etc. Or ski people. Skiers, even. Okay. Almost went off the ledge. Yeah, we're getting there. Getting up to 30% completion felt really quick. Then again, I'm pretty sure the levels were a lot smaller, which is fine. Just went by really quick. Gotta hit this guy twice, I believe. And then there's the snowball thrower. On the last dragon. So once we tidy this up, that will be it for gems.
You've done well, Spyro. Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
I'm ready, all right. Ready for what?
31. Okay. And... oh, that's not it for gems. I missed 2. There we go. So in my head I'm thinking, how do we get onto that platform? Now I distinctly remember doing the exact same thing when I was younger on my friend's disc of Spyro. I was jumping onto that ledge right there. But how do we get to the area with all the lives? Now, I just had the idea, once we get out of here, because I know there's no area above me, or else I probably would have seen it. But it's another risky move. So there it is, right there next to that building. You can kind of see it poking off the edge. And then I can kind of see the start. So the whole way up there, I'm thinking to myself, is it going to actually let me do this? Am I actually going to be able to glide? We're going to see some risky glides here in a second. There we go. But again, this is one of those areas in Spyro where you don't really have direction. Now this one I give like a full pass, not that anyone need passes, because there's not gems or anything else on that ledge. There's just 3 extra lives, which is fine. But you wouldn't do this at the start of the map. So the only way to do this is to go to see all those lives and then backtrack at the end of the level after you've gone past the return home station. So there's just a lot of weird backtracking in this level. It's fine. We actually land this. And it worked out. We got 3 extra lives to kind of help us out in the coming levels. Okay, and that's it. That's this world done. Even though the lives weren't necessary, we got all the gems, we got all the dragons, and that's 2 worlds done in this episode. So, thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you want to. Tell me how I'm doing in the comments, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. But until next time, see you later.